Hey guys, today I want to talk about 10 budget-friendly cameras that still are pretty feature-rich and can even rival more expensive models. Since even an affordable cameras inflict certain damage on one's wallet, it is important to know your options to choose the best equipment. So in this video, we'll have a look at 10 excellent cameras that are both fairly affordable and give you impressive results picture and video-wise. We'll be mostly focusing on more popular brands like Sony, Canon, Fuji and Panasonic, and let's get down to business. Sony ZV-1 is an awesome small-sized camera that was released in spring 2020 and is still popular with bloggers and photographers. ZV-1 has a 1-inch 20-megapixel sensor, it records 4K video and only weighs 294 grams. This is a really small camera with a built-in lens with a 24-70 aperture, but despite its size, the camera is still really powerful. It gives you impressively detailed shots with a 5472 by 3648 resolution, real-time 4K video, slow-mo in 1080p and a great light sensitivity with noise suppression on higher ISO. There is also a smart eyes autofocus, a top-tier built-in mic and a convenient flip-out screen. ZV-E10 was released in fall 2021 and is the continuation of the blogger-oriented series of cameras. This camera has a 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor, has interchangeable lenses and weighs 343 grams. Unlike the ZV-10, this camera has a bigger sensor, which means it guarantees better video and picture quality, higher ISO, and it also gives you an opportunity to pick optics according to your needs. This model has the same features as its predecessor, including a very nice mic with wind noise suppression, a flip screen and autofocus that can even lock on animals. This model also has a host of automatic features like blurred background mode, focus shift and exposure correction. This is a perfect equipment for everyday use and for vlogging. Sony a6400 was released in 2019 and made its way to become one of the top-selling cameras of recent years. This camera is really similar to ZV-E10 because it is the predecessor of the latter, and because they use the same APS-C 24-megapixel image sensor. This camera produces pictures of top-notch quality, records video in 4K and slow-mo footage in a lower resolution. The biggest difference between this model and the previous two entries is the A6400 size. Its body is bigger and it weighs as much as 403 grams, or over 14 ounces, but its body is definitely more sleek as it is made of magnesium alloy. The camera has nice ergonomics and is a bit more pro-oriented than the other two entries. That is why its weight and absence of a 360-degree flip screen shouldn't bother you. A6400 has a viewfinder which helps shoot in bright lighting. We have covered budget-friendly cameras manufactured by Sony. We have 7 more cameras of different makes to go. But before we move on, I want to say this. Most of the time, beginner photographers prefer to focus on the camera they should buy and which optics to use. But they forget that there is more to photography than just equipment. In order to excel in a craft, you need to study the theory, rules of composition, colors, exposure, etc. You can do it by reading books, articles, by watching tutorials and guides, and by working in photo editors. Choosing a proper photo editor might be as tricky as choosing the camera itself. That is why I want to give you some advice that is solely based on my experience. Go with PhotoWorks. Newbies in photography will love its clear interface and tons of built-in prompts. The easy workflow will make mastering PhotoWorks a breeze. Advanced users will certainly appreciate color correction tools, portrait retouching features and nifty instruments that allow for easy background change, noise reduction and photo stylization. If you've never tried PhotoWorks, here's your chance right now. If you follow the link below, you'll be able to try this photo editor for free and later order it at an amazing discount. But let's get back to your affordable cameras roundup. The M6 is a very interesting camera by Canon. It was released in 2019 and immediately found success among photographers and videographers who have a soft spot for small equipment. The camera has a 32.5 megapixel APS-C sensor and optical stability stabilization. It allows for 4K video capture and weighs 408 grams. The model comes with detachable lenses with a EFM bayonet, which means that you can pick optics for this camera with little damage to your budget. The autofocus is really swift and steady, and there is a 14 FPS continuous shooting mode. You can record 4K videos and slow-mo footage in 1080p. The drawback of this camera is its screen that only flips 180 degrees, which is actually fine for a smaller camera. And here is another Canon camera that is somewhat smallish. It weighs 387 grams. It is definitely cheaper than M6, but its toolkit is admirable. The camera was released in 2021. It has detachable lenses, which lets you choose optimal optics. All in all, this model is not that different from the other entries, with a few notable exceptions. First off, you can turn this model into a web camera, which means that you can stream live in high quality. There is also a 360-degree flip screen and a viewfinder. M200 is the lightest Canon camera with a weight of 299 grams. It was released in 2019 and is part of the series with detachable EOS M optics. It has an APS-C 24-megapixel sensor, which allows for excellent video and photo quality even in low light conditions. This is one of the more interesting models, if you ask me. It provides excellent quality but is quite affordable and small. Besides, it allows for detachable optics, which means that you can mount different optics onto it. Besides, there are also mods for bloggers that let you create colorful and visually pleasing content. This is a very impressive camera that stands out among the competition, thanks to its design reminiscent of old film cameras. And the Waze toolkit also contributes. The camera was released in 2019 and gained popularity among photographers and videographers. It has a 26-megapixel CMOS APS-C sensor that grants good quality even in low light conditions. And I love Fujifilm cameras for their color accuracy and high quality of images. This model is also equipped with shooting profiles that imitate the look of an old-school film photo. Video recording is nice, with a flat f-log profile that allows for additional color grading. The downside of this model is its screen that only flips 90 degrees on one axis. You'll have trouble shooting and monitoring yourself at the same time. Next comes a very sleek and aesthetically pleasing camera with a retro-inspiring design. It weighs 364 grams, which is a bit shy of 13 ounces. X-E4 has interchangeable optics. If you use it with smaller lenses by Fuji, you'll get a perfect coupling. The quality you'll get will be able to rival even more expensive equipment. Here you get a flip-out screen, viewfinder, a top-tier autofocus. The color accuracy is admirable, which is a staple of Fujifilm cameras. There are also quite a number of shooting profiles. You can record videos at 240 frames per second, which will let you get footage slowed by 20-fold. The camera comes in two colors, black and silver. You can safely call this camera a stripped-down version of the legendary Panasonic G80. Still, this particular model kept all the better features of its predecessor. The G80 has a 4/3 16-megapixel sensor as well as an awesome double 5-axis stabilization. This nifty feature will make sure that your images will be sharp even at a low shutter speed, and that your videos will be clear even when shot handheld. This camera has detachable lenses and a M50 bayonet, which means that you'll have a vast selection of optics for different manufacturers, and you'll be able to pick the optics according to your needs. GX80 was released as far back as 2015, but it is still very popular thanks to the quality of video and pictures it produces. There is a 4/3 16-megapixel sensor that handles low light conditions just fine, as well as a built-in 5-axis stabilization that allows for a very sharp and clear image. As for video capture, you can record videos in 4K, but the slow motion mode only allows you to slow your footage twice. There is a host of color grading presets and peculiar feature of focus shift on a photo already taken. Another thing, be aware of the crop factor, which is equivalent to 35mm when choosing optics for this model. All in all, this is a wonderful budget-friendly camera camera that can be your first ever piece of equipment. And this has been our roundup of the 10 best budget-friendly cameras. If you feel like I failed to mention a deserving model, please let me know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. We post videos every week, sharing with you tips on equipment and software as well as photography hacks. Thanks for watching. See you next time.